much. And then, like he rightly said, the war for the restoration of the independent state of Biafra was a war which only those that truly wanted their freedom and those that were truly following our prime minister will understand what happened in Finland. There were a couple of things that played out that would have really derailed the declaration of the United States of Biafra. One, from the Zoo government. Zoo government never wanted us to declare. That was why what happened to the PM happened just like a few weeks before that event in Finland. They planned it very, very well. They targeted that period, and they were able to execute it at that period. And if you like the letter that came from PM, I didn't release all the letters. I only released some portion where he told me to take over until it comes out. But in that letter too, you will see the portion where who in the world that follows Prime Minister Simon Ekpa will ever think or dream that at any point PM could even suggest that we postpone the convention. That shows you they planned real bad. So anybody following the prime minister that kind of suggestion will tell you that there was so much that went on the ground. There was so much. And I thank God for my life. Without what I know, nobody, even in the brigade, nobody would have stopped these individuals from stopping the restoration of the United States of Biafra. Nobody will do that. So even after the declaration, even before the declaration, some of them came in this brigade cabinet with different excuses why we have to postpone the declaration. Even paying for the hall was a last minute something. And we've been planning since February of 2024. Till the last minute or few days to the start of the declaration, the event venue was not paid out for. And there's somebody that calls himself finance minister. And they will be claiming to Biafra and they are doing this. Oh, my boss, my boss. But few days to the opening of the event day, that hall, only the Spirit of God touched them to pay for that hall. And then the referendum analysis. We've been having referendums since February. One of them now that they're going around doing meeting with United Kingdom people yesterday, Chomo Koma. She said that we cannot declare without her giving the analysis of the referendum. And this analysis, referendum difference, we've been voting since almost February, March. And this is somebody that was chairing the committee. So just on the 28th of November, a day before the start of the event, Chomo Koma was with this Ogenke, all their group saying we cannot declare because she doesn't have the analysis of our referendum ready. And she's the only one that can do that. She's the only one that has that analysis. I don't have to, if I release the meeting that we had on that 28th, some Biafrans were screaming and cursing that they can never stop the declaration of this independence on the 29th. And somebody that was the chair of a committee that knows that from February to November, that one of the things we have to present to the world is the analysis of the referendum. So even though the referendum ended on the 28th, it's just adding maybe 1 or 2 days to what she already has. But during that meeting on the 28th, she said nothing is ready. Therefore, we cannot declare. I don't want to release some private information about meetings that we have with these individuals, but every Biafran should go and thank God for people like us. Thank God that I was there. They planned real bad. Biafrans were screaming. The Biafrans were crying on the meeting we have on the 28th that there's nothing that will stop us from declaring on the 29th. Because if we come to Finland, we do all the dancing, we do all the singing, we do everything. And we do not have one of the basic reasons, major reason why we were in Finland, which is the declaration of our independence. Then what have we achieved? Already some of them have planned. On that second, there was so much chaos. The one that was called Bam Bam Bam, he was like pacing up and down. They were creating so much chaos to invite the Finnish police. And once the police come, the next thing, they will say, everybody disperse. And we are not going to do that declaration on that second. Their plan was deep. Their cut is deep. But only through Biafrans we understand. But we thank God. I stood my ground. The Biafran cabinet members at that meeting, about 40-something, they all stood their ground. But these individuals, they were opposed to that. Anyway, we thank God that we did it. That's all I have to say. So much, and then like he rightly,
commercial buses with tinted glasses have been linked to crimes such as kidnapping, armed robbery, and hit-and-run incidents. To curb the rising crime, Uzodinma directed security agencies to work with designated government officials to enforce the directive. Defaulters will be prosecuted if they fail to comply within the 3-day grace period. Alright, 72 hours is 3 days. So if you there for Owerri, they drive commercial bus. If you there for Imo State, they drive commercial bus. And a tinted glass now they use. Now if you say your name, now if you say you don't enter fire be that too, and they go fry you like crayfish be that. Alright. I say make I commend the governor on that one. Because if person do the one way good, we go commend them all. If you do the one way bad, we go still talk about you. Recently, there has been a lot of things in Imo State, a lot of things happening in Imo State, a lot of issue of Ndin kidnap and the rest of them. We have issue of a young boy who testified how he entered even not only commercial buses now, even some private cars are even doing it. There is a boy that testified how someone wanted to give him work, or you know, these Obama people. Of course, if you are from this side, you know what is Obama. Obama are those liberal workers that usually stand along the road. They have mason among them, they have carpenter, they have iron bender, they have all manner of work for when it comes to building. So people usually come and pick them up to go and work for them, and most times you see them rushing when they see a car stopping. So according to one of the boys, he said that one of those one man like that contacted him to come and work for him, and unknowingly for him, they were kidnappers. And when he entered their vehicle, they placed a red hanky on his nose. It happened that he slept off until he saw himself in an unknown place. But fortunately for him, one of the kidnappers had mercy on him and found way to release him, and that was how he was able to escape and started telling the story to others. All right, Mazen Nandekano warns against manipulating opinion ahead of his April trial. Let's go down to that information. The leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, Mazen Nandekano, has warned the federal government of Nigeria against manipulating public opinion ahead of his alleged terrorism trial on April 29th, 2025. Kano, currently in the custody of the Department of State Security Service, is being tried over alleged terrorism. He was renditioned from Kenya to Nigeria in 2021 in a manner alleged to have violated international laws and conventions. Kano had traveled to Kenya as a British citizen. Kano's warning was announced via the X of his special counsel, Barrister Aloy Ejimako, which was made available to the Whistler on Thursday. Entitled Update on Nnamdi Kano's case, Kano said the alleged detention was the latest effort to deflect attention from global campaigns for his release. Quoting Ejimako, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu met with his legal team to address the Nigerian government's alleged attempt to manipulate public opinion ahead of his trial on April 29, 2025. Onyendu MNK highlighted concerns over deliberate efforts to falsely link the indigenous people of Biafra to fabricate raids in Imo and Anambra, describing this as a state-sponsored tactics to deflect attention from global campaigns for his release. In response, Kanu has instructed his lawyer to formally engage the United States and the European Union to conduct an imperial investigation into the wave of state-sponsored insecurity in southeast Nigeria. We remain committed to truth and justice. Alright, this one is coming from Mazi Nnamdi Kanu's lawyer as his court appearance approaches that is supposed to take place on the month of April 29th, which is this month. And Kanu has warned that the government should not manipulate the public opinion, thereby linking him to some of the linking IPOB to some of the insecurities that have been ravaging the state. Of course, you know that recently there has been a lot of issue of insecurity as regards the state. There has been a lot of buying, there has been a lot of burning of houses, committing arson, and the rest of them. And the government is not making any move to stop this thing anytime soon. The other time, the director of ESS said that everybody should protect themselves. And I was wondering, how can people protect themselves? What arm or ammunition do they have to be able to protect themselves? And I'm still worried about that. All right, in other information, remember that as it is now, PDP candidates, PDP party members have been defecting to APC. And I was wondering, is this because of upcoming election of 2027? You can see that Nigeria has no balance again. Before, we have PDP and APC. They were the top party, and we have other parties like NMPP. We have the Labour Party, which came up recently. We have other parties like the Action Congress and the rest of them. But as it is, PDP, who happens to be one of the bourgeois when it comes to the Nigeria political sphere, all of them are now defecting to APC. You can see that this country is not the country you can bank on, because everybody is fighting for their pocket. If all the PDP members should be would have the mind to leave their party, a party they pledged allegiance to, a party they pledge allegiance to uphold its manifesto, and as it is now, all of them have defected. They are now moving to APC. Even the president recently